It's Groundhog's Day here in the US, and everybody wants to know, did Phil see a shadow? Did Phil see a shadow? Well, I've got a question for you. Did you see your shadow? Because if you didn't, you may face worse consequences than 6 more weeks of winter. You see, shadow work is the most important tool for spiritual awakening in the 2020s. Let me repeat that. Shadow work integration is your most important tool for spiritual awakening in the 2020s, because if you are filled with shadow aspects that are unresolved, there's just no room for spirit in your life. And if you're not doing this one thing, then chances are you will not succeed. In this video, I will explain what the secret is, how to apply that into your shadow integration work, and give you a few exercises that you can work with for clearing unwanted shadow aspects from your life. So welcome to the Medium channel, where we bring you the spirituality behind the message to help you awaken. And speaking of awakening, it's Groundhog's Day, and the groundhogs are awakening from their hibernation, kind of looking around, poking around. They're either seeing their shadow and going back into hibernation, or they're not and they're staying out. But what is hibernation? Hibernation, from a spiritual perspective, is going into the womb of Mother Earth for healing, for digesting lessons, so that we can come out in the spring with new energy and new vigor. Now, we don't want to cut that short, and I'm sorry if there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter, but like the groundhog needs to complete its hibernation cycle, we need to do the same. We need to integrate, and we need to process, and we need to heal, and then we can go out into the world, put our best foot forward, and do amazing things in our lives. So what are shadows in the first place? I mean, basically, they're unresolved issues, they're suppressed traumas, they could be ancestral. There's many different forms of shadows, but basically a shadow is what's hidden. It's hidden in the subconscious. And when that happens, basically those shadows hijack the emotions. It becomes a subconscious program. And what we feel emotionally affects everything in our behavior and in our lives. So when the shadows are unchecked, when we're not aware of them, they basically negatively run our lives. So what we do about this, which is a big part of our spiritual growth and path, is we learn how to shine the light of awareness onto the shadows. For when you shine a light on the shadow, it ceases to be a shadow. It gets integrated into the light. And that's the key. So the secret that I want to share is simply learning how to engage your spirit guides, to engage the angels and the archangels, to engage our higher selves. We have help. You see, without our spiritual guidance team assisting us, we'll tend to just draw from our own resources, and our own resources are colored by our own shadows, and it really doesn't work. Working with our spirit guide and calling on guides that can work with us, that specialize in working through our shadow aspects, is really a powerful tool that just very few people are doing, but it can make all the difference in the world. So we'll flash a video above, a good meditation on how to connect with and work with your guides. Now, the first thing, always remember, is to cultivate presence. And we talk about this in every video. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the idea is every time we think about it, just stop your thoughts and become aware of your breath, become aware of your body. And it's meditation, and taking your meditation outside, learning how to be the observer. And the thing is that when we start to become present, we start to dissolve those filters between the conscious and subconscious mind. If the filters are too strong, we'll never get to our shadow. So we must practice presence and meditation. And yeah, when we dissolve the filters and the subconscious shadows start to surface, we feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it's anxiety. Sometimes there's even physical pain. And I'm sorry about that, but spiritual growth is what it is. Discomforts are part of it. We have to be willing to face that, because then, especially with the help of our guides and feeling the love of our angels with us, is going to help us to really overcome that and be able to dissolve those filters and be able to be okay with the discomforts that are going to come up as your subconscious programs start to surface. That's important. And also learning to work with the heart, do your heart brain coherence, because when you open the portals of the heart, you open to gratitude, you open to appreciation, you open to compassion. And in the portals of the heart, you expand, you connect more with your higher self, more with your angels, more with your guides. So your guides get stronger, you get into that higher frequency and vibration, and by doing so, then it's easier to integrate the shadows, because the light of your heart can wrap around your shadow aspects and integrate them. The heart, when it's cultivated and coherent, is the great integrator. Please, if you're enjoying the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and leave us a comment, and help YouTube to share it with more people. And of course, subscribe if you like this channel, hit the bell notification, and then YouTube notifies you when we release new videos. So working with your guides is not that hard. It's all about intention. It's all about getting present so that you can be aware of more of the subtle vibration of spirit and opening your heart, because it's through the heart portal that we're able to feel and connect with our spirit guides. So practice that every day. Get nice and relaxed, get present, open your heart and feel with your heart and find your guide. Even if you think you're making it up, keep practicing it. It's like, is my guide here? Is my guide here? And set the intention that the guides you're attracting are the ones that are going to work with you spiritually and to help you to integrate your shadows. There's a way to do soul retrieval work with guides. Now, soul retrieval is a shamanic technique where you go back and you basically you integrate a past trauma, because when we have traumas or things happen in our lives that are negative, some of our essence, our soul, gets trapped in that time period, and that creates the subconscious shadow. So when we go back, we can start to integrate those experiences, and you can ask your guides to give you memories, give you clues, give you symbols, give you words, give you messages. And one thing that I did, and you can do this with your guides or your angels, but I work with Archangel Raphael, and I went back to when I was 6 years old. I'd been punished. I got slapped and hit a lot. I wasn't the easiest child, apparently, and there's a lot of difficult memories, a lot of shadow aspects from early childhood. So I went back. I called on Archangel Raphael. I went back. I was 6 years old. I was crying in my room, and to make a long story short, I basically told my child self how special he is, how loved he is, how things need to be hard for him to fulfill his work as a grown-up and all that. And when I could energetically catch like a little smile in the tears, that's when I hugged him, I brought him back into my heart and reintegrated him. So you can do something similar with your guide, where you go back to some trauma or some source of one or more of your shadow aspects, and you can work that way. Now, another exercise, like once you understand some of the shadows, like say you're doing your spirit guide work, you're talking with them daily, maybe journaling your experiences and journaling what messages you get and what instructions that you get. What do you do with this? Like once you uncover a shadow aspect, the idea is get really relaxed. This is called the golden flame, and it's part of my power attunements program. So you get really relaxed, and you take a second to really think about that trauma or whatever it is. An event, a trauma, or maybe it's just an emotional tendency. Like do you have social anxiety or depression, or do you seem to just sabotage everything? These are symptoms of unresolved shadow aspects. So what you do is you kind of capture the essence of that emotion or that event, and once you capture and you feel it, then you don't have to dwell on the past or anything. That's not what this is about. But what you do is, in your mind, you give it a shape and a color. Instead of a trauma or instead of a shadow aspect in front of me, and it doesn't have to make sense. Whatever shape and color you pick, it doesn't have to make sense. Just ask spirit to work with you. give it a shape and a color, and start to feel that emotion in that shape and color. The next step is you visualize a crystalline golden flame from your solar plexus to your throat. So in your heart center, you visualize it. You visualize that flame, and you have the shape in front of you. Feel the energy of that in the shape, and give it love. Again, we want to love it. It's not the enemy, it's our teacher. Remember that. Your shadow are your teachers. You can write that in the comments. My shadow aspects are my best teachers. So remember that. And then once you have that, you give it a lot of love and gratitude for it. Then you gently place it in the flame of your heart. The heart integrates, this golden flame integrates. You can visualize black or gray smoke coming out. Those are the unwanted emotions, the self-sabotage, the behaviors, and everything that the shadow did to mess your life up. See that leaving with the smoke and integrating that experience. See if the shape melts down, if it burns quickly, if it whatever happens, if it sparkles or whatever. Sometimes you have to repeat this over and over and over again through the power of repetition. So there's a couple of very powerful ways you can work with your guides and work with intention to clear the shadows. Now, here we have 5 shadow work exercises. So do these exercises also. Take the information from this video, watch this video, and do these exercises, and I can virtually guarantee you're going to integrate your shadows and clear a lot of unwanted challenges and problems. I love you. Thank you. See you at the next video.